Another material we can look at in creating 3D roofs would be standing seam. Now, if you watched the flat tile video, it's really going to be the same method, um, though there will be some slight differences. So we'll try and go through this one pretty quickly. Uh, but like I said, it's going to be pretty similar. So again, I'm just going to copy this over 100 feet, and I'm going to use my flattening tool, which just makes it flat, uh, which makes it really easy to create my cutting boxes I need for the roof. And going back to my roof, uh, my roof parts block that's in it's on the server. I'm going to use this plate here, which is just my standing seam, uh, the three-dimensional version of it that shows the seams going up and just adds a lot of detail versus just painting it. So let's grab this. We're going to Control C, come back over here, Control V to paste it in. Now we're just going to grab a copy of it, move it over to where we want to start. Let me just grab the bottom point and we'll throw it right on the corner. Now we can rotate this around and you can see that this was made, it looks like, for a 4 on 12 slope, but no big deal. We can just come right in here, um, and we're going to select everything and just rotate it up to match the slope we're looking for, and we're good. So one thing you can look at if you want is just where you want the standing seams to be, and it's really not a big deal, but if you want to just mess around with it, maybe we want to slide this one over just a little bit, maybe say 8 inches or whatever. Now I can use my cutting tool, to cut this off, but really it's just as easy to come in here and push pull this back to where we need it. And there's that side. Uh, and so now that we have that, we can copy this over 2400 inches, which is 200 feet, and we will create our cutting tool. And so just like before, we're just going to slide down and draw in our lines and get rid of the pieces we don't need. We'll push pull this up, and the only difference I'm going to do now is I'm going to paint this box, and the reason being, let me make a copy of this over. The big difference between this and the flat tile roof is that they're both three-dimensional chunks that were created previously, but this one has a material painted on it. And the reason why it's important to note is whatever this material is will get applied to what it cuts. And to show that more specifically, let's just grab a very bright color. We'll grab this red. We'll paint this box red. Now if I were to use this to cut this, you'll see that the edges are actually painted red because of the material. Even if it didn't have a material and it's left this default material, basically it would apply the default material to the edge. So just to keep things nice and clean, we're going to paint this what we want the edges to be. Now you'll notice quickly, or quickly show you, that really I have two materials for standing seam. The first is going to be one that has these shadow lines for the seam itself. And the second is really just more of a standard, say, metal material, and I'll show you those. So I'll grab the first one, B. If I hit Alt, it's going to give me my eyedropper. I can select this and paint it. So there you go. So you can see that it has this standing seam look to it. And if I come to the side or the back side and do the same thing and paint this square, you can see that it's really just some sort of uh, kind of more just aluminum material or whatever it is. And so what I want the edges to be is more of this material. So I'm going to select this and paint this that material, then come in here and subtract that out, and so now you can see that on the edges we have that material applied to it. So it's just an easy way to keep things again nice and clean. So I'll move that back over and you can see how quickly again that you can apply some nice 3D material to these roofs. It can be slightly tedious, but again, I think in the end worth it if you have the time. Maybe we'll do a couple more roofs, and then we'll quickly show you what the final product would look like. So maybe we'll grab this one, and I should have made a copy of this since I have to rotate this one again. Just we'll note that after we rotate this, we'll copy it so that we have a 5/12 version ready to go. And we'll just slide this up. There we go. I'm going to get rid of this one and copy this one over here. So this is our 5/12 version. And when it comes to sanding seams, one of the things you might want to do to try and keep things uniform, it always looks nice, is maybe we'll align the seams. And then again, we'll just push-pull this piece back to there. And then we'll just create our roof there, and maybe while we're here we'll just copy this one over and set up this other piece of roof, and then we'll go cut them in and see what it looks like. So there we go. So we have those two pieces put together, and we'll just move both of these over at the same time, our 200 feet. Maybe we'll hide this one because we're just going to deal with this one. And again, the thing to really be aware of is that we want to run this angle instead of coming down like we did the previous time. We want to run along with the hip valley. And actually what I'm going to do, and I mentioned this in the previous video, is maybe this one we really want to do more of an intersection. So you'll see what I mean. Again, we just want to make sure we have our roofing material silver selected. We'll paint that, and then you'll see that if we select both of these and run our intersection tool, that there you go. We have our piece of roof created. Move that over, hit H to unhide things, and maybe let's create this one. And maybe we'll do the same thing. The intersection can be a little easier to use sometimes, so let's use it. Mix things up here, show you different ways of doing things. Or slide that up. We want to paint it and run our intersection. And again, that easy. And we have this whole bottom roof created. So there you go. So you have some nice roofing materials created. And again, it's always nice to group these together. We can come back to our roof drawing, and we can even pull in these cap pieces. That should always add a lot of just those little bit of touches of details that really seem to make these buildings just come alive just that much more. So there you go. We'll finish putting that in place, and again we can just stretch it back to where we need it to be. That looks pretty good there. And excuse me, now there's two ways that we could do this. We can actually copy this over to here, and then rotate it to what we need it to be. So we'll put it here, we'll rotate it 45, and then we would want to, let me hide this, because then I can rotate by this axis. So we can kind of slide under here and just, grab our points to rotate this up. There we go. And so that's one way that we can do this. Rotate a little too much, but again, like so many other things, it's very easy to fix. But really what I want to show you is there's actually another way. I'm gonna delete this, just paint this back to its base material, and I'm actually going to draw a line along the ridge and the hip, and I'm going to use my upright extruder, and so there you go. We actually just created the whole thing all at once, and it's actually a lot easier to do it that way, and it actually looks really nice, very simple and clean, and there you go. So this is really where you get a lot of visual impact, is seeing the standing seam against the wall versus just looking flat. I'll get this out of the way. So yeah, so it's a nice look. It's very easy to do, and as you can imagine, if you have a mixed materials, you just cut the standing seam for the roof piece you need. You cut the flat tile for the other, whatever it is. You can see you can mix materials. I'm going to go ahead and finish the model and show you what it looks like, and show you any other specialty areas that come up. So here we are with the completed model, showing the standing seam across the whole roof, with the ridge caps and whatnot. So again, you can see it just adds just such another level of detail and fun and just touchy feeliness to a model that if you have time, it's definitely well worth it. So explore, have fun, check it out, and see what you can do.